one to watch. This is 16 WAPT News live at 6.
Right now, thousands of people packing the Coliseum waiting for Donald Trump to take the stage. Plus, a peeping Tom suspect in court.
Well, I think he is innocent until proven guilty, sir.
What he told our cameras after facing the judge. And 24 hours and still no sign of a man who disappeared when his dump truck crashed in the Mississippi River.
Right now, a live look inside the Coliseum downtown. Less than an hour from now, Donald Trump is scheduled to take the stage. But as you can see, hundreds of people are already lined up waiting to hear from the GOP nominee. A lot of excitement for Donald Trump's third trip to Mississippi. I'm Ryan Houston.
And I'm Megan West. Want to get straight to 16 WAPT's Ross Adams. He is in the Coliseum tonight in the middle of this big crowd, Ross.
I got to tell you guys, I've covered a few presidential rallies in my time, but I've never seen anything quite like this. This looks like more of a gathering for a rock concert or the Dixie National Rodeo than a presidential rally. But that's how unconventional Donald Trump is. We're standing right here in the middle of the Coliseum, packed with hundreds of people near the stage where he will be speaking in about an hour. And behind the stage, you can see those seats are filled. Most of those seats are filled, and behind me, you can see those seats are also filled in the Coliseum. However, this Coliseum is not nearly filled because if you look to my left, those seats are empty, and if you look over to the right, you can see that those seats are also not filled. Nevertheless, there's a large and enthusiastic crowd of Donald Trump supporters here who want to hear him take to the stage, want to hear him say how he's going to make America great again. We've seen some very strange things. I have to tell you, a peak Trump mobile. We even saw a cutout of Hillary Clinton brought by a German TV crew, hoping to get a rise out of Trump supporters. That's just some of the unconventional things we've seen tonight, and we expect to see a lot more later. For now, we're live from the Mississippi Coliseum. Ross Adams, 16 WAPT News.
Well, the crowd may look like a rock concert. It certainly sounds like a rock concert where you are, Ross. We'll keep checking back in with you as we wait for Donald Trump to make his appearance there at the Coliseum. In the meantime, hey, let's take a look outside. You can see a sea of cars downtown at the fairgrounds outside the Mississippi Coliseum. Many of these people showed up hours ago to make sure they were among the first inside the doors. We should also mention the Secret Service is blocking access to some streets in several directions near downtown tonight. Well, the NAACP made it clear they do not support Donald Trump's visit. As 16 WAPT's Allie Ware reports, Congressman Benny Thompson joined the group to encourage citizens to stand against Trump.
We should not, as a state, as a country, tolerate demagogues that fuel hate.
The NAACP says they don't think Donald Trump will gain any more minority votes with his latest trip to Mississippi.
He would say that coming to Jackson is doing more in the African-American community, when there will probably be very few, if anyone, from the African-American community in this area at that event.
If David Duke decides that he's inspired by your campaign so that he's going to run for the Senate, and you don't disavow that, if the head of the Ku Klux Klan in Virginia endorses your candidacy and you don't disavow that, then something's wrong with you as a person.
Democrat Congressman Benny Thompson was just one of the leaders at the NAACP presser against Trump.
We're here to say that as a country, our commander-in-chief has to be far more tolerant than what we've heard from the Trump campaign so far.
Congressman Thompson says he thinks remarks made by Trump don't represent the people standing in this room or the people of Jackson.
But let's face it, all the public does not feel comfortable in going to those kind of settings. My granddaughter monitored the session in Madison County. She said, Pawpaw, the people there didn't treat me fair.
We just got kicked out.
What for what?
We were just sitting there. I was there to observe and hear what Trump had to say and see what the big deal was about.
Are you guys protesting?
Not really.
Well, when you are a candidate, you're also responsible for the actions of the people who are supporting you.
We've seen violence at some of the rallies before. Do you anticipate any of that here in Jackson?
No. You know, I trust the good people of this community. We express our views. We follow the law. I've seen more violence by Trump supporters than I've seen any other supporters. So in America, everyone has a right to an opinion and free speech.
In Jackson, Allie Ware, 16 WAPT News.
Getting a presidential candidate in and out of a city can be pretty tricky, and it takes coordination. 16 WAPT's Scott Simmons has been tracking Trump since he landed about 2 hours ago. He's live at the airport. Scott.
Yeah, Donald Trump hit the ground with no problem, but leaving the airport was delayed by almost an hour because of a traffic accident on I-20 at the same time. The Secret Service caravan was not going anywhere until they got that accident cleared and the roadway open. Trump sat in his plane for almost 50 minutes before his caravan and security detail rolled out. He was flanked by federal, state, and city law enforcement agents as both lanes of I-20 and I-55 were shut down for that sprint into the city. Trump's traffic impact is expected to be seen again tonight, best guess sometime between 9 and 9:30 when his caravan leaves Jackson to return to the airport. Officials say they do expect to shut down traffic to speed that return here. That departure, though, could be delayed depending on a number of factors at the Coliseum tonight. Those who are going to be on the interstates 20 and 55 sometime after 9 should expect delays. At the airport, Scott Simmons, 16. WAPT News.
Scott, thank you. MDOT officials are urging you to use alternate routes tonight. Officials say use I-220 from I-20 to I-55. Also, they want drivers to use Highway 80 instead of I-20 and Highway 51 instead of I-55. If you can't get to the Coliseum, we'll be live streaming the rally tonight on the WAPT app and at WAPT.com. Download the 16 WAPT app for free for your iPhone or Android. All this excitement.
Let's get over to Chief Meteorologist David Hartman.
As we were saying, at 5 o'clock, Vicksburg would be under the gun at 6 o'clock, and there goes those thunderstorms moving into Vicksburg right now, just to the north of Port Gibson. They'll be over in Louisiana shortly. A couple isolated storms east of the metro area, so rain chance is going to be diminishing this evening. Boy, it's a hot forecast. I'll have it for you coming up in a few minutes.
Okay, David, a man accused of peeping on a 9-year-old girl in a Walmart bathroom told us he didn't do it.
What do you feel about your charges? Well, I think you're innocent until proven guilty, sir. So we'll let the court decide that.
That is Chad Dodds talking to us as he left court in Canton this morning. Prosecutors say Dodds followed a 9-year-old girl into a Walmart bathroom last week, then looked at her through a crack in the stall. He's facing 1 count of voyeurism. He's been held on a $350,000 bond. Dive crews recovered a truck that rolled into the Mississippi River last night, but no sign of its 22-year-old driver.
For some reason, his truck and him went down the hill very fast, made a hard right turn, and didn't even go close to the ramp, just went off down the slope into the water and just gone.
That is Liz Miller. He is the owner of Riverside Construction Company. He told us the driver's name is Michael Collins. Miller says Collins was trying to load his dump truck last night when he, as he heard, rolled backwards into the river. Specialized dive teams found his truck submerged 40 feet. They say Collins wasn't nearby.
We're searching everywhere on the bank, any floating debris, anything in the water, which is typical of how we do a drowning search in the river.
Fine young man. You know, I wish I could trade places.
I hope they find him. I hope they find him alive.
Deputies tell us this is an around-the-clock search effort. We're, of course, following the latest developments, and if we have anything new, we'll keep you updated right here on 16 WAPT and on our website at WAPT.com. Well, a judge sentenced a Mississippi man who tried to join ISIS today. That judge gave Mohammed Dakala 8 years in prison. FBI agents say he and his fiancée tried to join the terrorist group last year. A federal judge sentenced her to 12 years in prison 2 weeks ago. Dakala also faces $250,000 in fines. The couple met as students at Mississippi State. New tonight, Pike County deputies are looking for another suspect in connection with a grocery store shooting. It happened at the Hilltop Grocery on Highway 98 East in Macomb. Sheriff's deputies arrested 18-year-old Mario Jennings and 17-year-old Keith Patterson on armed robbery and aggravated assault charges. The store clerk says gunmen robbed him, then shot him while he was walking to his car at closing time.
Jackson police stopped a man from jumping off an I-20 bridge today. JPD says a man was threatening to jump from the I-20 bridge near Terry Road. Now, we saw first responders on the scene working to keep the man from jumping. Once they talked him down, the man was taken to the hospital. And another backup on I-20 East this morning. A dump truck rear-ended a car, causing traffic delays. It happened this morning around 8:30 in the eastbound lanes. 2 cars were damaged in the accident. No word on any injuries tonight. Congressman Benny Thompson is speaking out about the arrest of one of his top aides. His chief of staff, Isaac Avant, is facing misdemeanor counts. Authorities say he did not file taxes for 5 straight years, ending in 2013. Thompson says he's heard about the reports and spoken to Avant.
He tells me that what was portrayed is not the truth. I have no reason not to believe it. And I will give him, like I would anybody else, an opportunity to have their day before whatever the tribunal is to prove their side.
If found guilty, he's facing a year in prison on each count, supervised released, or fines. Thompson says he will let all of this play out in court before firing Avant.
State emergency management officials might use Katrina aid money to help flood victims in Emmett and Wilkinson counties. They say one option is using about $250,000 from funds set aside for the Hurricane Katrina cottage sales to repair houses. Mississippi wasn't eligible for federal disaster aid money. 2 students at one high school are using their biggest rivals to try to help flood victims. Cole Crodwell and Tanner McCraney are juniors at Jackson Prep. They started raising money last week for flood victims and have already taken in more than $2 grand for the Red Cross so far. Well, now they're challenging Jackson Academy to raise even more than that during their big football game Friday.
After I texted Cole, he was like, let's do it. And we went to Colonel Merrill and we got it together, called Red Cross, and they were happy for us to do it.
We are challenging JA to raise more money than us. And this, really the only time that we want JA to beat Prep.
The ante on what is already a hot rivalry. There will be several Red Cross collection stations set up to take those donations at JA. A big traffic alert tonight. What you need to know if you're driving through part of Rankin County in the next few hours.
Plus, we announced the Week 1 Blitz 16 Bank Plus Metro Player of the Week.
Gaston is of no concern, but there's been a lot of talk about that area I've highlighted in the orange circle. It's headed towards the Bahama region. My forecast on that and a hot finish to August next. You're watching 16 WAPT News.
One to watch.
Right now, isolated storms in central Mississippi, a little bit of a larger cluster coming up on the Vicksburg area right now. Everything is moving from east to west. High pressure off to our northeast is making everything move that way. So there's the metro area, some lingering light rain over there in Hinds County. That'll be winding down. But it's knocked the temperature down, but it's just added to the humidity. Now, where you see green, that's a gully washer or a frog strangler of at least an inch of rain. So plenty of spots, southwestern Rankin County, over in Hinds County, and northern Copiah County down towards Crystal Springs. Very active with those downpours. There's the action moving across the Mississippi River now fairly steadily, so it won't be raining too long in Vicksburg. But again, super moist, and the thunderstorms are very efficient at dropping a quick inch of rain. Some sky cams for you, and boy, it was a beautiful shot from Vicksburg at 5 o'clock. Now that storm has moved through, crossing the area with some rain, and from our Windward Bluff sky cam, we're looking off into that direction. You can see some of the residual clouds from the showers that moved through. 95, 74, it was a scorcher today. Temperatures rose very quickly, but look where we stand now. It's 82, but it feels like close to 90 because the humidity, 80%. 0.04 of an inch of rain at the airport, so we're still in 5th place. That's where we have to go for 4th place. Still possible over the next week that we'll get a thunderstorm or two. Very, very wet August, over 5 inches above average. All right, now the thunderstorms are going to be isolated. Temperatures are going to be brutal. Humidity is brutal, not only here in Mississippi, but across all of the South. The dew point temperature is way up in the 70s, and that's oppressive. So you can see where the storms have cooled things off. Meridian, by the way, upper 90s today. So the highest real feel I saw today was 110 in Vicksburg. We'll cool off with that storm moving through, so that's the good news. Bad news, we're going to do it all over again tomorrow. There are those real feel numbers way up over 100 degrees for most of the day. So the storms popped up, and over the southeastern states, that's where we have that high pressure and the clockwise flow pushing everything from east to west. Slowly drier air comes in, so maybe that dew point number and the humidity will come down just a tad. So over the next 5 days, this disturbance, which is very unorganized, the hurricane hunters have been in there, found no area of low pressure, did find some squally, gusty winds. Certainly could be some development, but it's iffy on what it will do. The cloud top's not even very high at this time. So nothing to worry about, but we continue to keep you posted on what's going on in the tropics. 76 your low as isolated storms wind down, and then tomorrow repeat mid-90s. Speaking of mid-90s, get used to them. That's how we're going to finish the month in an isolated storm threat. You know, we keep everybody updated on those tropics. You know, it's kind of disgusting what you read on social media. You know, I kind of try to keep up with everything, but just panic, people. It's just, you know, make sure you get your information from a trusted and reliable source.
Yeah, absolutely. David, thank you.
We have a big traffic warning for drivers this week.
Yes, MDOT will close Flowwood Drive from Liberty Park Road to Airport Road in Rankin County for tonight and from 7 until 6 tomorrow morning. And again, they will close it tomorrow night from 7 until Friday at 6 a.m. This is part of MDOT's Lakeland Drive expansion project. Week 2 of high school football. Madison Central taking on Brandon in our game of the week.
Sports is next. You're watching 16 WAPT News at 6, the only one to watch.
The votes are in, and it's time to announce the Week 1 Blitz 16 Bank Plus Metro Player of the Week. Real quickly, our 3 finalists won last time. First up, Cam Akers from Clinton High School. Akers racked up 452 yards of total offense and made 5 trips to the end zone, 3 through the air and 2 on the ground. Next, from Northwest Rankin, senior quarterback Braden Smith. The senior QB went 20 of 27 for 249 yards and 3 total touchdowns in Friday night's win over Germantown. And finally, Jake Smithhart of the Pearl Pirates. Jake went 6 of 7 for 173 yards and 4 TDs in just one half of play against Richland, leading the Pirates to a 55-0 win. And the winner is Jake Smithhart of Pearl High School with a combined total of 6,089 votes between the phone and web poll. This is foul because he only played one half. But coming in at number 2 was Cam Akers of Clinton. He tallied 3,924 votes, leading the pack in the phone votes. And Braden Smith rounded out the list with just under 3,900 total votes. Pearl High School students, I'll see you Friday morning at 9:40 a.m. with Bank Plus representatives to present Jake his Player of the Week award. It took overtime, but Madison Central rallied late to take down Meridian 13-10 Friday night. As if that one wasn't tough enough, next up for the Jags, the consensus #1 team in the state, Brandon. Yeah, but Madison Central has its own set of playmakers, Jack Walker, Braden Boykin, and Quentin Ewell, just to name a few. So with many pundits predicting the Jags to have an average season, first-year head coach Anthony Hart is using that talk as fuel.
You know, one thing we've talked about all week is Brandon being the top team in the state. And, you know, that's a challenge for us. You know, we come out here with a lot of kids with not much experience, and that's not always a negative because there's a lot of room for improvement there, and we're seeing that daily. But Brandon's got a great football team. They're top-notch in my book. They've got a good player at every position. There's no glaring weakness.
I mean, we just go out and play. We don't have to listen to that underdog stuff. Everybody always picks other people against us, but we just got to play.
Yep, gonna be a good one. Jags and Bulldogs battle in our Week 2 Sonic Game of the Week. Well, folks, college football is just around the corner. And how about this for the opening weekend on ABC? Check out the lineup here. Only here on WAPT. And we've got another treat for you as well. Next Friday at 7, we'll air our college football preview show. Folks, you can thank us later. That's it for sports. We'll be right back.
Well, 30 minutes until Donald Trump is slated to speak in downtown Jackson. Ross is live at the Coliseum for us.
Well, they've dimmed the lights here in the Mississippi Coliseum, and you can see the large crowd in the center of the stage waiting